welcome to my channel. I am the Bloody Baroness, and this is Eerie Echoes. To understand why my mother and I were out at Whitlock Lake, I have to give you a little background on us. My mother and I run a wreath business in a quiet, northern Michigan town. Violent crimes are virtually non-existent. It was fall. Around this time of year, the forests of Michigan become rich with colour. This day was full of warmth and colour. Instead of buying pine cones for decorating wreaths, we decided to go foraging for them in our local woods. I knew about Whitlock Lake from high school. Some of my friends and I went out there a couple of times to party. It's a small camping area with about 3 sites. This lake is connected to other bigger lakes a few miles down the road. It is a small old logging town called Jennings. Population about 20, maybe a little less. The times I went out there as a high school student, it never had a strange feeling in the air. The day my mother and I went to forage, the air was thick with fear, and we felt like we were being watched. We thought maybe it was just a small woodland creature hiding and watching, waiting for us to leave, so we continued. About an hour goes by, and we decided to move on. We moved to where the forest meets the water. There are cute tiny little baby pine cones that we use for tabletop wreaths. Shortly after we found ourselves at the edge of the lake, we heard a few gunshots from across the lake. We live in northern Michigan. People are getting ready for hunting season this time of year, so we shrugged it off. We got into our car and moved down the trail. When we got out of my car, I noticed quite a few gunshot shells on the ground. Again, it's not uncommon to find shells of any sort on the ground this time of year. We continued. We were at the end of the trail with the last 2 campsites on either side of the trail. We continued foraging for about 20 more minutes. As we walked across the trail to the next site, we noticed something strange. At the opening of the campsite, we noticed a tall 5 or 6 foot wooden pole. On top of that pole, we saw 2 leather straps. To us, that was strange. Why would someone want leather straps on a pole? Of course, we put it out of our minds and we continued. A short while later, we stumbled upon an old beat-up mattress that looked like it had been there for a while now. As we got closer to the mattress, the ground around it was very mucky. As soon as you stepped anywhere, you sunk about half a foot down. People dumped garbage in the woods a lot up here. When we started to walk past it and get to the pine cones on the other side, this horrible smell seeped into our nostrils. We both looked at each other at the same time and got the hell out of there. By now, we're scared out of our wits. As we were driving out of the trailhead, we were met by a guy in a red Cadillac type vehicle. The look on his face scared the bejesus out of us. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it was all in our heads. I would like to think that my mother and I have a good sense for that sort of thing, and we got out of there just in the nick of time. Needless to say, my mother and I have never been back to the lake, and I don't plan on going back. About a week later, I couldn't hold this event inside anymore, so I called the cops and recalled the incident as best I could. They said they would look into it, and I haven't heard anything since. This happening still haunts me to this day. I'm always thinking about what may have actually happened out there.